In the autumn of 1915, a young schoolteacher named Eleanor Finch, age 24, traveled alone through the thick forests and fog-covered hills of Arkansas Ridge. She had accepted a teaching position in a mining town far away, hoping to escape a life full of grief back in Kansas City, the life where her little sister Lucy had fallen ill and never recovered. Rain hammered the road as the carriage wheels sank into mud. The driver pointed through the downpour. "There, ma'am. The Ridgeview Hotel. Last lodging before we reach the schoolhouse." The building stood like a slice of Victorian elegance trapped in wilderness. Tall, brick walls, iron balconies, and wide glowing windows. But no two windows seemed aligned. Eleanor blinked, assuming it was the rain distorting her view. With her luggage, she stepped inside. The hotel lobby smelled of cedar and old perfume. A fire crackled warmly, yet something felt displaced. Corridors stretched strangely, as though they were still deciding where to lead. Behind the counter stood a man in his late 50s, Mr. Whitlock, a silver-haired gentleman with eyes too kind, or maybe too curious. "Welcome, Miss Finch. You'll find rest here. Just remember one thing." He slid a heavy brass key toward her. "Room 219. Hallways change each morning." Eleanor half smiled, thinking it a joke, but his expression didn't change. Her boots echoed down the carpeted corridor. The place was eerily quiet, though dozens of doors lined the hallway, room numbers scattered in no logical order. She passed room 302, then 116, then 4, then 227, like a deck of cards shuffled by a mischievous hand. Room 219 finally came into view. The key turned with a grating click. Inside, a stunning Victorian suite, velvet curtains, a writing desk, a wardrobe bigger than her old boarding room. A painting hung above the bed. A girl in a white dress, back turned, reaching toward an archway of light. The longer Eleanor stared, the more the girl's silhouette resembled Lucy. Her breath caught. She stepped closer, fingertips shaking, but a sudden knock interrupted the moment. At the door was a small boy with freckles and messy hair, Tommy. "Don't wander after sunrise," he whispered. "That's when the hotel starts moving again." Then he ran off, disappearing behind a corner that hadn't been there before. That night Eleanor couldn't sleep. The wind moaned against the windows. The chandelier tinkled as if touched by invisible fingers. She turned to the painting. The girl's posture had changed. Now she was facing forward, her eyes glossy with a plea. A familiar plea Eleanor had seen in Lucy's eyes during her final days. "Don't leave me." Eleanor's pulse spiked. The room suddenly felt colder, darker. She forced herself to lie back down and whisper a trembling prayer. Sleep eventually took her, but dreams of endless hallways chased her until morning. A shrill bell rang. Morning. Eleanor opened the door and froze. The hallway was completely different. Her room, once near the lobby stairwell, now sat between room 9 and room 504. The wallpaper had changed colors. Gas lamps flickered where portraits had been. Mr. Whitlock stood as if waiting. "Breakfast is downstairs. Don't be alarmed. The hotel protects its guests and its secrets." "Why does it move?" she asked. He gave an unsettling smile. "Some places choose who they want you to find." In the dining room, Eleanor found Tommy sitting alone, clutching a wooden toy horse. "You shouldn't talk to everyone here," he warned. "Some guests are not alive the same way you are." She laughed nervously. "You mean ghosts?" Tommy nodded slowly. "Some are stuck. Some are searching. Some are trying to go where they couldn't when they were alive." Eleanor felt a chill. "And you? Which one are you?" Tommy looked down. "I don't remember." Before she could ask more, the chandelier flickered, every candle blowing out at once. When lights blinked back on, Tommy was gone. No one else in the room reacted. After breakfast, Eleanor returned to her room. Except it wasn't her room. Room 219 was nowhere in the corridor. Panicking, she wandered the shifting maze until the carpet pattern changed, little golden stars leading forward like breadcrumbs. The last star pointed to a door, room 217. Inside, an unfamiliar room smelled of lavender. A typewriter sat on a desk beside a stack of letters. On top, to Eleanor Finch. Do not open until the morning hallways change. Her stomach twisted. Someone knew her. Someone expected her. She searched the wardrobe for clues. Instead, she found a photograph folded tightly. Tommy, standing beside a gravestone. His gravestone. Eleanor found Mr. Whitlock and demanded answers. That boy, Tommy, he's... She couldn't finish. Whitlock's eyes softened. Yes, he passed in 1907. His mother brought him here every summer. When she failed to protect him, his spirit returned to the place where he felt happy last. Why can I see him? Why can he see me? Because you carry grief, Miss Finch. The hotel responds to hearts like yours. Eleanor clenched her fists. I want to help him. Whitlock nodded sadly. Then be ready, for the hotel will test how far you'll go. Night fell early. A storm boiled overhead as Eleanor searched for Tommy again, determined now, less afraid. The corridors twisted sharply, refusing familiar paths. A clock chimed, and an iron gate appeared, a wing of the hotel sealed by heavy chains glowing faintly. Tommy's muffled voice echoed behind it, crying. Eleanor rattled the gate. Tommy, I'm here. How do I help you? His reply barely reached. It wants me to stay. Forever. Suddenly, portraits on the walls turned their heads, all faces pointing at Eleanor, eyes demanding she leave. Her fear burned into anger. She screamed into the darkness. You can't keep him trapped. The gate swung open on its own. The forbidden wing swallowed Eleanor in pitch darkness. Then, soft light bloomed from nowhere. She entered a small room filled with children's drawings, scribbles of horses, stars, and a smiling woman holding Tommy's hand, his mother. But in the last drawing, the woman walked away, leaving Tommy behind. A single page lay separate from the rest, painted with a broken blue crayon. I wish someone would choose to stay. Eleanor collapsed to her knees. This hotel didn't trap children. It trapped abandonment itself. She understood. Tommy wasn't stuck. He was waiting for someone who wouldn't leave him again. Tommy appeared at the doorway, small, trembling. Did you see my drawings? He whispered. Yes, and I won't leave you, Tommy. His eyes widened, hopeful, terrified. No one keeps that promise. Not even my mama Eleanor took his hand, warm like a real boy. I will. He squeezed tightly. If you stay, the hotel will show you what you lost. Eleanor's heart ached with Lucy's name on it. Then show me, she whispered. The walls groaned as the entire hotel shifted violently, hurling them into a new corridor glowing bright white. And a familiar laughter echoed from somewhere ahead. Lucy's laughter. Eleanor staggered, tears burning her eyes as she screamed into the blinding hallway. Lucy? Eleanor ran toward the giggles, deeper into a corridor overflowing with white light. A small figure stepped into view. Lucy. Her hair in curls, ribbons bouncing as she smiled the way she used to, before the illness. Ellie, you came, Lucy laughed. Eleanor nearly collapsed. She cupped her sister's face, trembling. But you're... Lucy placed a small finger on Eleanor's lips. I had to come where you could find me again. Tommy hung back, suddenly quiet, as if uneasy in Lucy's presence. The hotel hummed around them, walls stretching, anticipating a choice. Lucy tugged Eleanor's sleeve. "We can go together now. We can stay here. Forever." No more sadness. Eleanor's eyes filled. The offer was a dream, a temptation wrapped in memory. Tommy whispered, voice cracking. "That's how it starts. It gives you what you miss, so you forget what's real." Lucy turned sharply, not angry, just afraid. "Don't listen to him, Ellie. He doesn't understand." Eleanor knelt. "I love you, Lucy. But you belong somewhere peaceful, not trapped in a hotel that rewrites itself every dawn." Lucy stepped back, expression shifting, confusion, then sorrow so deep it nearly broke Eleanor. The hotel's lights flickered, unsettled by Eleanor's resistance. The walls began twisting, separating them. Tommy grabbed Eleanor's hand and ran as Lucy faded into the brightness. "She isn't whole," he cried. "She's a memory the hotel uses, because it knows what hurts you most." "But why?" Eleanor demanded, tears streaking. "What does it want?" They turned a corner, and there stood Mr. Whitlock. "This place feeds on longing," he explained quietly. "Every guest brings heartbreak. The hotel rearranges itself to mirror their grief and keep them searching." Eleanor shook with anger. "You've let this happen?" Whitlock's shoulders slumped. "I was a grieving father once, and now I am its caretaker, trapped in my failure." Whitlock led them to a wooden door with a cracked glass pane. Inside, a child's room, toys, a rocking chair, dust dancing in shafts of morning light. "This was my daughter's room," he whispered. "She died here. I begged the hotel to let me stay with her spirit. It agreed, but trapped us both." He pointed to the rocking chair. His daughter, a ghostly girl with sunken eyes, watched silently. "I believed love meant never letting go," he said, "but I condemned her to stay in a place of sorrow." Eleanor clutched Tommy, realizing the cruelty in holding on to pain forever. The walls shook violently. The hotel sensed rebellion. Tommy stepped forward. "I want to go home too. I just don't know where it is anymore." A shining doorway appeared behind him, swirling mist and sunlight calling like morning bells over meadows. "The hotel is showing you the way out," Eleanor said softly. "You're ready," he cried. "Will you come with me?" Eleanor's heart twisted. She had promised not to leave him, but she finally understood. Love wasn't chaining someone to you. Love was helping them find peace. She knelt to look at Tommy squarely. "I will walk you to the door. But where you're going, I can't follow." His chin quivered. "I'm scared." "So am I," she admitted. Their hands intertwined. The exit glowed brighter, pulling them closer. But suddenly, Lucy's voice pierced the corridor. "Ellie, don't go!" Lucy stood surrounded by flickering walls trying to cage her again. Eleanor ran to her. She smoothed Lucy's hair, memorizing the softness. "My sweet girl, you are a beautiful memory. You don't belong in this sorrow." Lucy's eyes filled. "Will you forget me?" Eleanor sobbed, holding her tight. "I will remember you every day, but I won't let my grief trap us both." Lucy exhaled, a peaceful little laugh, and her body dissolved into a warm, silver light that drifted upward like sunrise mist. Eleanor stayed kneeling, shaking from the release of the pain she had carried too long. Tommy watched, tears streaming. "You helped her go where she's supposed to be." Eleanor wiped her face, reached for his tiny hand again. "Now it's your turn." He hugged her fiercely, small arms with the weight of years. "Thank you for choosing to stay until I wasn't alone anymore." She kissed his brow, voice breaking. "You were never alone." "Not while I was here." Tommy took his first step toward the light, and then another. The hotel walls loosened, like a monster losing its power. Just when Tommy reached the glowing threshold, the hotel let out a roar like a collapsing mountain. Doors slammed shut one by one. Portraits hissed with angry whispers. Stay. Stay. S-T-A-Y. The floor beneath Eleanor cracked open, trying to swallow her whole. Tommy screamed, "Elle, run!" She sprinted toward him, dodging crumbling beams as the hotel tried to twist the halls away, trying to rearrange destiny itself. She threw her arm out, fingers just brushing his. For a moment, she thought she'd lose him to the darkness forever. Then, Tommy grabbed her hand and pulled. The door snapped shut behind them. A silence like a held breath fell. Eleanor blinked into a meadow. Golden sunlight warmed her face. No hallways, no ghosts, just the whisper of wind and the scent of wildflowers. Beside her stood Tommy, solid, full of life and relief. His eyes shone, not haunted anymore. A path stretched forward, his path. "Where will you go?" she asked. He smiled. "To find my mama. I think she's been crying for me too long." They hugged one last time. "Goodbye, Tommy," she said. He waved and walked into the light, growing smaller until he disappeared over the horizon. And as he faded, Eleanor felt something lift inside her chest, a release she didn't know she needed. Eleanor headed back toward civilization, determined to live by the lesson this strange place taught her. Grief isn't a chain, it's a bridge. You cross it, not camp upon it forever. A week later, she stood outside a small schoolhouse at Arkansas Ridge, ready for her new life. She turned to glance back into the distant forest, where the hotel once stood. There was nothing. No walls, no sign of its sorrow, just trees reclaiming the land. Eleanor whispered into the breeze, "Thank you for letting us go." Then she stepped forward, confident, lighter, as the morning sun painted hope across the sky.